Well, hey, it's Petey Two Finger. How the heck are you? This morning, I went off on I'm supposed to be putting together a drum track and working on this new piece of music, which is derivative from a King Crimson song called Mate Kudasai. I believe that's just I don't know what that means. Is it foreign? Is it a woman's name? Can you look that up for me? So yeah, this King Crimson song.
Mate Kudasai, please wait.
Yeah, they had been to Japan, maybe, and Adrian Belew wrote these lyrics. It's a real beautiful song. Yeah, she waits in a chair. She sleeps in a chair. She waits in the air.
Yes, she waits in the air.
Yeah. Adrian Belew. Unbelievably beautiful poetry from this guy from Kentucky. World-renowned sensation guy, the little hillbilly guy from Kentucky that just changed the world. Literally, after he's gone, when people start catching on to how great he was, because right now he's got a little fan base, but he literally, like Bowie knew. Bowie wrote a song for him called Boys. And it's about him. When you're a boy, you can wear a uniform. That's talking about when you wear the WAC outfit, the dress, the Air Force WAC dress for Frank Zappa. So yeah, this song is really beautiful. It's something I learned how to fake it on the guitar when I was in my 20s. I learned a fake version of it. And yesterday, I picked up the guitar and started playing in a higher register and put together with my new thing that I've been doing something that's in the same vein as the last, like maybe there might be 4 of these songs now that I've written that are in the same vein, where I use a spring reverb. I don't use a distorted guitar. It's clean. And I use a patch on a free VST plugin called Wallow Synth. WOLLO, Wallow Synth. And it's a kind of like a ding, 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 like an echoey lower synth that I'll put in there. And I'm thinking I'm going to have piano holding down like a haunting, repetitive, maybe just a single note droning piano that's going to stay, change a little bit. So yeah, I got that on my plate. I wake up, I'm watching Buckethead videos. I learned that his first demo was called The Return of Augustus Gloop. In the same video, I learned he has a song, a song called Chicken Boy. Our cat that passed away, his name was Gusty. And the cat we got after Gusty, R.I.P., his name is Kita, and his nickname is Chicken Boy. So it's just kind of weird in the same video. It's like Buckethead's writing songs about our cats. So then I go off on this tangent lately, I wish I could realize why I've been on this canned heat tangent. The story with my obsession with canned heat, Uncle Dave, he had a farm, a pig farm, and we played a gig there my band's first legitimate gig was at this hog farm in the 80s. We called it Hog Aid, like Live Aid. And later on I was at Dave's farm, and we got kind of messed up, and he was like, you can't drive home, because it's like a 2-hour drive, and I was kind of toasted. So I stayed with Dave. He had just blown his finger off with a sawed-off shotgun. He supposedly dropped it when he was cleaning it, but he got $10,000 from the insurance. And the hole in the ceiling was right next to the baby's crib. So it was was that an insurance job, or was he cleaning the gun with a live round in it? You tell me. I remember when he came back, he's walking down the shop. He was an easy rider. He was a biker. He rode. He had Beezers, Triumphs, Harleys, you name it. He had it all. And he was a mountain man looking guy. He was a rough and tumble character. He looked like something that crawled out of he's a biker. Real deal guy, And he's walking down the shop with this look on his face. This is when he came back after being gone for a month, after he blew his finger off. And he comes in at noon, and he's walking down to punch in. And I didn't say a word to nobody, and I came out of the woodwork and said, "Hey, Dave, how you doing?" Which I never did. And when I came out to say that to him, he came up and pointed at me, and he had those motorcycle gloves with the fingers cut off, and he had a napkin rolled up, shoved in where his finger was supposed to be. And he came up and got in my face with this napkin. That was Dave, So when I spent the night at his house, it was just me and him, and we're in there smoking. And he's like, you don't know about the real music. And he went and got this stack of Canned Heat albums and put that on. And I was forced to listen to Canned Heat all night. And I'm like, this is boogie woogie blues. It's really good. It's like it doesn't get more authentic than this. There's solos in every song, and they're really good. Everybody in the band is just on it. There's 2 singers in that band. The Bear. They all had nicknames. There was the Blind Owl, the Mole, the Snake, the Bear, and you know what? I forget what Fito, the drummer, Hispanic guy. But anyway, I'm on this Canned Heat trip lately. I don't know why. I'm just Canned Heat, I'm watching videos and looking for more information. I want to read the book. Fito wrote a book, Living the Blues. So I'm checking stuff out. I know that a few years ago, maybe 2005 or something, they and forgive me for being wrong on this. I know I'm going to be wrong. The movie Woodstock, I had seen it a few times, and I had to watch it. The first time I watched it, I really didn't like it. That whole freedom at the beginning, I just couldn't stand it. And the more I watched it, the more I got it. And I was like, I love that movie now. I really do. And at some point, they came out with the full version of it. Because originally they had edited it down because they couldn't fit. It was just too much. So they did highlights of it. And Canned Heat was completely cut from it. A lot of good artists were cut. It was people, whoever did the editing, they looked at Canned Heat and didn't like the way that they looked. Because that's the thing about Canned Heat. They're really kind of a couple of fat guys in the group, The other guys are kind of weird looking. They're not typical, like, you know, the Monkees or you know, Poster Boy type guys. They're just real people. And of course, you find out. I think one of them is still alive. There was 2 overdoses in that band. So yeah, they were the real deal. And when I watched that Woodstock, the applause that they got, like, they're great. They're great at Woodstock. I don't know. I really love Canned Heat. I really do. And this was a band that I hated. I did not like them. When I was working at that car dealership, everyone listened to the same radio station, which was WCKG. And they would play On the Road Again 3 times a day. You know, they played a lot of oldies, like Chicago, like bop 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 da 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 bop bop, like what I would call like big band, like swing, like lounge stuff. You know, like I'm your captain, like that type of stuff. And I ended up going through my Grand Funk Railroad phase where I liked them too, but I really didn't like Canned Heat for the longest time. When they re-released Woodstock and I saw them, their set at Woodstock, that's when I got it. And I was like, these guys are great. And I was checking out the difference between the 2 guitar players, how they had a completely different style, and how they worked together. How they even had different sound. Like the one guy was using like a hollow body through a tube amp. The other guy had a Fender amp and a solid body, a Tele or a Strat, and he was using a fuzz box. So they had these 2 different sounds, but how well they worked together. So you can learn stuff about how to do your own recording from stuff like that. You can learn like what really works well together and what doesn't work so well. Is if you have a bunch of the same stuff, you got to have a little different stuff, then it mixes well. If you're going to talk about multi-tracking or overdubbing, and that's what I do. So Canned Heat comes back around. This is like the 4th or 5th time in my life where this band has come up, and I'm just like kind of went down the rabbit hole. I've seen the Canned Heat Suicide House videos before. I've seen those. Blind Owl died of an overdose, sleeping in a sleeping bag after a party on a hill by this house. That's a really weird house that was never finished, and it's covered with graffiti. One of the things you'll see written in there is owl shots. And, yeah, he shot something up, whether it was amphetamine, probably heroin. I think he was trying to sleep, you know. He probably shot up under the stars, and was it a hot shot? He's a 27 Club guy. So, was it one of these things where somebody in his band camp, the manager, was copping for him, and they decided that they were going to get rid of a couple of the guys in the band because they were worth more dead than alive? Because I think there was some of that going on in the 70s where they realized that these guys would hit a peak and that all their music after that peak would change and it would suck. And they wanted those albums to sell. They wanted those guys to become legends to secure their own financial stability rather than just be forgotten the rest of time. So they give him a packet, they give him a hot shot, and the guy dies from it, and the band goes on to become a legend and continues to sell records for another 100 years because, like I'm saying in the video, hey, this band is legitimate. 2 of the guys in the band overdosed. Which, that's a fair way to judge if a band is good or not. Is there suicides in the band? is there overdoses, then they're probably good artists. Because, let's face it, it takes people with, like, if you're real stable and you've got a happy life and everything, maybe your art's going to be kind of boring. But if you're all messed up, you're probably going to make some really interesting art. That's just the way it works. I didn't make this world, you know. So I'm going down that rabbit hole today, and I get to a comment in one of the videos, and today's the day that Owl died, September 3rd. That's today. I'm on this blind Canned Heat trip, and I'm reading about Blind Owl. I'm trying to download the book. I'm trying to find out about his death and learn more about his life. I'm looking for videos, and I find a comment, today's the anniversary of his death. That's weird. That's really weird. I mean, yeah, there's 365 days in a year, and I don't own any Canned Heat music. They're just one band that I like. So yeah, that was weird. That was really creepy. I'm still creeping out about that. I'm gonna go on and check some more stuff out. I just had to share that with you guys. I mean, did I explain that clear enough? Out of the blue, I'm like obsessing on Canned Heat today. Like maybe it happened yesterday. We were talking about Canned Heat.
It was September 1st. It was Tuesday.
2 days ago, for some reason,
In the car. I don't know if we were talking, if they played them, or we were talking about other bands and stuff.
I think what it was a song.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was them
A song came on, and I said,
or it sounded like them.
"Is this isn't Canned Heat, but it kind of sounds like it." That's what it was. There was some song, and my wife was like, "Who's Canned Heat?" And I said, "Oh, Canned Heat, they do the Spirit in the Sky." And my wife was like, "No, that's Norman Greenbaum." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. But their songs sound like Norman Greenbaum ripped them off, like, On the Road." That's the name of the song. So, and can you see what came out first?
What?
Norman Greenbaum,
Oh.
Spirit in the Sky,
Or
Canned Heat, On the Road. I guarantee you it was Canned Heat. Anyway, that's how it happened. 2 days ago, I had a doctor's appointment. We were in the car with the radio on. A song came on. I wish I knew the name of the song. I wasn't sure who it was. We were guessing about who it could be, and I brought up Canned Heat because that's who it reminded me of, and I knew it wasn't. And my wife was like, she didn't know who Canned Heat was. What did they do?
well, I'd heard of them, but I didn't know.
Right, it didn't click for her. And I was trying to get it to click and explain it. And I'm like, I made you watch them, their Woodstock set, and you were like, you didn't get it. And
1967 on the road again.
yeah. And so then 2 days later, on the anniversary of Blind Owl's death, for some reason, I typed Canned Heat in to the YouTube bar and started going down that rabbit hole.
69 for the other one, Spirit in the Sky. So yeah, Canned Heat.
Yeah, Norman Greenbaum ripped them off. So 2 days later, coming off of that memory, I triggered it in and wrote it in, and then I found out that today is, in fact, the anniversary of... So R.I.P. Blind Owl Wilson. What's his name? Al Wilson. Funny-looking guy. Great guitar player. Check them out. Check out the tour of the Suicide House. Check them out on Playboy After Dark. Check out their Woodstock set. Canned Heat. Great band. All right. Enjoy. If you haven't watched the Rock Saga episode 1 yet, I twist your arm to check that out. It's worth your time. Pencil in a half hour for that. And peace.